So now it's the next day, and it's just beautiful, beautiful late summer day again. So gorgeous. The sweet pea. Oh, they're just so wonderful. Dogs had a bone each. All the animals have been fed, and we'll go for it again. Luckily, you can just not watch these videos. Whichever ones you don't want to watch, you can just skip. So, but there's so much to life and to joy. How do we live joyfully? So, yeah, it's quite early. It's only about 9:20. But give it a go. It's quite windy again today. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about motherhood today, and just sort of just continue where I left yesterday. Not so much talking about my own life, but talking about what I believe is a good mother and or a good parent. And I'll just start off saying that when your family life, all that you've done as a mother or a father, you feel it didn't work. It was, you feel it's really, really traumatic for you, because I just believe all parents, they do their best. I mean, no matter how messy it can look, they really, really, I mean, no parents, they give birth to a child and say, we're just going to make hell for this person. You just don't do that. You wish for your child to have a good life, and you know that it's in your hands. When your child is little, it's all in your hands, and it matters how you behave. And you just wish to give this child the best. And when all that you've done just seemed to be bad, it is, I mean, it's not funny. It's really, really, really traumatic. And the guilt you feel is just, you just can't describe. You feel enormous guilt. And I still feel this every day. I feel, why didn't this not work? Why are my children, some of them, so unhappy? And really the blame thing, the self-criticism thing, it just, I don't know if I'm ever going to get over it. Because you just feel, yeah, it's just so hard. But what I can say about my own life, I realized some years ago, because there's so many things I felt I was doing the right way, just so many things, and as I said, I'd do it again. And the thing, the wonderful thing about the fact that my family, it didn't seem to work very well, what I did, is that there is no recipe. And I think that's beautiful, that God is teaching us that you just cannot say, when you become a parent, if you do this, all will be well. You'll have happy children. It doesn't exist. I don't think it does. There's just too many things, and especially in our time now, when so much pain, I mean, all this pain is surfacing. So much unhappiness is happening, and people are feeling all this unhappiness and despair. as a parent, we could have not have avoided this. And there's just no trick to it. You can't just say, I'm going to do this and this and this and all will be well. So when you start motherhood or parenthood, you don't really learn this till you have done it. But I think in all aspects of life, everything you do in life, there's no guarantee. You can't say, I'm going to do this and this. If I have a calf, I'm going to do this and this and this, and I'm going to get a healthy, good cow. There's no guarantee, but you can try. And as I see it, all you can do is listen to your heart. And a good parent is connected to her or his heart and listens to what is true for them. That's what I believe. And of course, there are things that are good for children. Children have needs, and they need to be met. And there are things that we should do as parents the best we can. So I'll have just to go through that in a minute. And if we want to see what a good parent is, we can just look at nature, look at the cow. She spends time with the animal. She connects with the animal. She calls the animal, keeps calling. So the animal knows, so that her baby knows her. And I mean, I know we're not animals, we are human beings, but we have an animal nature also. And the animals and nature can teach us really most of what we need to learn. Very rarely will a mother push a baby away or be bad to a baby, and if she does, it's because she hasn't got enough milk for the baby, and she'll let it die. But usually, everywhere in nature, you see mothers are good mothers and fathers are good fathers. And so what does the baby need? That was what I was going to say before. We've learned in our society that our children have such enormous needs, and just in Denmark, where you're not supposed to bring up you're not supposed to be with your children in the daytime. They're supposed to be in an institution. That's what everybody believes. They believe that children need friends from they're very, very little. They need friends, and they need stimulation. They need to do all these artistic things, and they need to be in big groups of lots of children, and they need computers very early. I mean, they're hardly 1 year old before they start having computers. It's just, as I see it, I think we really need to go back to, although our children are very, very highly evolved beings, the babies that are born now are very highly evolved beings. It's their basic needs that we need to focus on. And it's the holding, and the cuddling, and the patting, and the looking into their eyes, communicating with them, and praising them. You just have to watch out not going overboard with that one, because it's not healthy for a child to be praised too much. But the connection, that's what a child needs. So as I see it, a child has very few basic needs. And of course they need good food. And we know with the whole gut health thing, it's important to give our children a good healthy gut. And that means that before we have the baby, try to heal our own gut the best we can. Because the whole thing of autistic children being born, which used to be very, very rare, it's like, I think it's 1 in 3. It's just some really, really horrific number now. And it's simply because the mother's and the father's guts are very unhealthy. So, but that's a bit of a sidestep. But it is very, very, very fundamental, actually. And if you have a good gut health, you'll be a healthier parent. You'll be stronger, and you'll be also mentally much healthier. So it just is, Oh, the Lord wanted me to mention this here, apparently, because I didn't think of this. But our gut health is just so important. yeah, and bringing up a child when they're born, and they know that, or we all know that being in nature, running around barefoot, connecting with soil, the earth, getting dirty, being near trees, being in nature. Children are little nature beings, and they are at home in nature, very much. Some more than others, but yeah, and letting them hurt themselves. It's very important. They fall, and because that's the way their nervous system is stimulated. It's by hurting themselves and falling down, and also seeing that you're not all upset because they hurt themselves, but you comfort them. This is all what I believe, and you might feel very differently, and that's fine. Yeah, so and dressing them, I use cloth nappies, and these I've showed you with the wool, some of the wool videos, or one of the wool videos. I made these little woolen pants, so they had a cloth nappy on and little cloth pants, and then I put these woolen pants on that had lanolin, and when they wee, especially when they wee, it connects with the lanolin, and it actually, the chemical process is it turns into soap. So the baby's bottom can breathe, and I just loved it. But of course you have to do the washing, and also because I was with them so much, I just used the natural method of taking off the nappy and letting them be naked a lot. When you let them be naked a lot, they see themselves wee and poo, and they very quickly learn to just squat or go to the potty, or they learn it very quickly when they're not all packed up. And I mean, packing a baby into plastic just does not appeal to me. It just does not appeal to me. So that's just me. And of course breastfeeding, and for many women it's hard work because their bodies are often, you can be quite weak already, and I just think just be good to yourself as a mother and also as a father, and love yourself. Be kind to yourself, and you will feel this beautiful peace within, and you will share this, your baby will feel this. Don't be too demanding. I think I was too demanding with myself. So you learn, you mature. Sometimes you see that children who are born by parents who are older, they just function, they're just happier probably because the parents are just much more mature. So, but I think generally it's good to have your children early because you're stronger. But the whole thing of following your heart, and really that's one of the major things. Be honest, be yourself, and dare to cry in front of your children. Show them that you think life is difficult too, and but still still make them feel that you're the strong one. You and your husband, if you're with a man, you're two together, to make them feel that you're strong, not in an artificial way, but that you care for them and you protect them, so that the children don't feel that they have to be the parents. And and I think, well, for me, it just was, I mean, when I had my first baby, she came up onto my stomach, onto my belly, that feeling, it was just the most beautiful feeling. I just felt such joy, and so I also felt so honored that a baby wanted to have me as her mother, and it just is so special to have a child. And I feel in my own heart, I'm there for them the rest of my life. I mean, that's just feels natural to me, that my door is always open, and they're always welcome, and I love to be with them. And I make sure that I say very often, I love you, and that I love to be with you. I love to be near you and around you, but not in a clingy way. So also I love you to take off and do your thing. But I think it's very wonderful as a child to know that your parents' home, if there is one, it's always open and you're so loved, and it's like a haven. It's like a safe place you can come to when you've been in the world and doing your thing. You can always go home and just recuperate and be nourished by your parents. And of course there's a fine balance, and it's tricky. I think it's tricky myself when grown-up children come to not go overboard and be just running around serving them food and dishing up, but to also let them help and do the dishwashing and to also just take it easy, just relax. That can be a bit tricky because you're not their provider anymore. It's more the love, that they feel welcome and loved, and that you just adore them, and that you're interested in their life. And I think I don't care about my children doing an education. I've said that before, because they are beautiful as they are. And I really believe, from what I've been through myself, that it is an unfolding. All the beauty and wisdom and light and grand things that you actually will experience are more or less coming from you within. So it's a matter of letting it out, setting yourself free, relax. So encouraging your children to relax and be who they are. And of course, lead with example. So what you want your children to do, do it yourself. And be honest with each other. So having an open home where they're always welcome, but to also say, and that's been the big one for me, when they're just nasty or just things are just not nice, to say it. And it's really shocking when your children are not nice to you and they actually think it's very natural to be very nasty. It's just shocking. And I feel mostly sad for them, because to not care about your parents and be loving to your parents, that's just so sick, really. But I've had to say it. Listen, what you're doing there is just horrible. I won't have it. I won't have you treating me like that. It's be necessary. So it's really sad. But I'm proud as a mother, but I'm also proud of my children. But what I feel most proud of is to see that my children are good people. Not that they're rich or have a great car, it's beautiful to see that they look beautiful and that they take care of their body as grown-ups. To not smoke and drink heavily, or to be good to their bodies, because that is just being intelligent. So, I say it when I see they're eating healthy food and being good to their bodies. I say it very often. It's just so wonderful to see you look after yourself. But the most beautiful thing a person brings is the love of their heart, is their warmth, and their caring about others. Their ability to be natural and just relaxed within themselves is very, very powerful, and that is beautiful. But to just, to show interest. So when my son calls and says, "How are you, Mum?" I just get so, I feel so proud of him and so happy for him, because the fact that you care about others is just a very beautiful. That's really what life is all about. It's not all about me. So it is a fine balance, figuring out how do I take care of myself and not just always think of myself. But the thing is, when you really take care of yourself with your heart, you start to really love yourself. You see that we're all connected. So it's not me against you. But of course, start with yourself, look after yourself, but know that the greatest thing you give is your warmth and love towards others, or to animals around you. It's the giving of your presence and your love. That's the most beautiful thing you bring. So, so being a parent, a good parent, can look very, very different. And because if you're following your heart, what you do and what your neighbor does can be very, very different. But as I said, yeah, there's the basic needs that the children need, and yeah. And I mean, when you get to the point where your children actually choose to live without you, and maybe even say, that's what I'm experiencing right now, that one of my daughters says, it's unhealthy for me to be around you. To actually also love that. To say, I love you there. It's okay. It's okay. Because we just don't all resonate with each other. And so, yeah, to love them is to love them where they are. So, yeah, it's one of the biggest jobs there are, to be a parent. So, yeah, this was just something I wanted to share. And if you're in this situation, which many of you are who've been watching these videos, where your children are very critical of you, I just know in my heart that it's all about loving yourself more, and let them go. But when you think of them, feel your love for them, because that's what the world needs, and that's what we all need. So feeling your love, and if you feel anger against them, look into what is it that makes you angry. And often what people are doing to us that hurts us is what we are doing to ourselves. And usually it just comes down to, as Louise Hay says, every problem comes down to the fact that we don't love each other, love ourselves enough. So my child is hurting me, she's acting in a way that hurts me, and then you can ask yourself, where am I hurting myself? Where am I not being loving towards myself? And stay there. Do the healing work here. Because there's no doubt in my mind at all that no matter what kind of a parent you were, and how many things you can see that you did not do very well now, when you look back, you are a beautiful, treasured, fantastic being. There's no doubt. And the more you get into this, you allow yourself to believe this truth, which it is, the more your life heals. And the greater the chance. Don't do it to get your children back. I mean, because that's what you often do. It's the self-healing. It makes you feel wonderful. And of course, the chance of them coming back into your life is huge. Because where you are, it's peaceful and it's joyful. But my God, when people hate you, especially your children, I really just stay away from you, because they just, wow, it's a challenge to be joyful. But we can do it. We can do it. And that's what I saw a channeling yesterday. I just read, they're just so wonderful. And what we were told was that we have to pursue, what's important is to pursue things that make you joyful. This is what we need to do right now, because the struggle is over. The whole struggle that we've been through for thousands of years is over. So now we're meant to just really deeply enjoy life. Deeply enjoy, of course, to be who you are, because you are the one who's experiencing life. You are the center of all life, because you're right here. I mean, you are the creator. It's God in you. And so the whole thing of enjoying being you is the foundation for all goodness in your life. Enjoy to be you. So, yeah. Maybe I can just say a little bit more of the things that I have been criticized for, because I think that's important too. Not that we should not go into detail, but I'll just mention a few of them. And one of them was that I'm such a fixer, and when my children had a problem, that's my oldest, one of my daughters has said this, that I would very quickly say, okay, right, how can we solve this problem? Do you have an idea? Let's look into this and solve it. And what she said is that she just needed to cry on a shoulder. She just needed to be sad. So I was too quick at being the fixer. And I've been criticized for singing the wrong songs at night when I would always sing for them I would put them to bed. I would read for them most nights, and often we read fairy tales. I loved the fairy tales. I loved reading for them. And I would always sing till they, often not till they fell asleep, but just for a little while sing some, because I love singing, especially the old Danish songs. And I sang a wrong one and she didn't dare. So that's what some of them said, they're frightened of me. And that's really, really sad. I mean, a child who's frightened of her mother. That's really sad. And I just did what I felt was natural. So, yeah, it's not great. But I have to say to myself, what I did then was what I felt was right. I definitely didn't do anything to make them frightened of me, because I encouraged them to be themselves. So anyway, that's what happened. Yeah, there's probably some more things I can. You're just being neglected. They just some of them feel. I mean, neglected in a way that was sick. I mean, just really like some of the children who were not fed and just not looked at. That's what they had said to us. So I won't end on this note, but that was just, I thought I'd just say some of these things that we have been accused of. And so I'll end off saying that you are precious and you're wonderful. And if your life, you feel your family has fallen apart, there's no doubt there's a beautiful life waiting for you. There's no doubt. And the fact that you've been through this pain is what makes you even more beautiful and more powerful. So you'll be able to live a very, very powerfully beautiful life, but also probably be able to help many, many people. So there's no doubt there's a beautiful life for you, no matter how messed up everything else looks. So have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.